How's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest gaming news, rumors, and speculation. And it must be Todd Howard season, as not only do we have that Todd Howard Reddit Ask Me Anything happening very soon, but on top of that, we just got one of the biggest Bethesda interviews in a very long time, featuring none other than our favorite Daedric Lord, Todd Howard himself. And in this interview, we got a lot of new information involving Todd himself, Skyrim, Starfield, and yes, even the Elder Scrolls 6. So let's not waste any more time and get into today's content. First off, this interview took place between Ryan McCaffrey of IGN and of course Todd Howard. It was uploaded on November 9th, 2021, literally an hour before I recorded this video, and like I said, there is a surprising amount of new information in this interview to break down, some of which I will no doubt go in depth into in future videos, as some of these statements are a lot larger than they may seem at first glance. However, the purpose of today's video is to be your one-stop shop for wanting the complete breakdown of every important statement made in this entire interview, presented to you as quick and concise as possible. So with all this in mind, I'll try to keep my own personal thoughts and opinions as brief as possible, as I'll cover a few of these topics in more detail in future videos. This information will be structured in order of when it's said in the interview from beginning to end, and will be direct statements or answers from Todd himself. So let's start this entire breakdown. First off, these were all basically great questions. Awesome job, Ryan. Speech skill increased to 100. You unlocked Skyrim fishing before anyone else. Now, Todd Howard said he considers Skyrim a blessing and he's very grateful for how well it did, and it's definitely ingrained into Bethesda culture. Todd Howard doesn't like mini-maps on the game screen, as he thinks players just stare at them too much and it takes away from the gameplay a little too much. Todd Howard thinks that Skyrim did so well because the tone was just right, and it had great longevity and the ability to be played in many different ways. He thinks Skyrim could have had more depth in certain areas. Now, he says something here that has kind of weird wording to it, as he says that we could do better with NPC AI and reactivity to the player and world events. He says this while on the topic of Skyrim, but the wording itself makes it sound present tense. Maybe this will be something that will be improved in Starfield and further the Elder Scrolls 6, only time will tell. He then says music is very important to their games, and it's always one of the first things they do, and this is the same thing for Starfield. Usually when they start a new game, they'll start with concept and concept art, the user interface, and then the music. The music sets the tone and the vibe for the developers to actually make the game and the game world, and then Todd Howard says he hates picking favorites, which is an energy I totally can vibe with Todd. He says his favorite Bethesda Game Studios game as of right now, in terms of what games are out right now, is Skyrim, and his favorite Skyrim mod is Sky UI, and mods like the one that allow you to fast travel to your house. He likes survival mode mods too, and they regularly hire modders, and he says it's a great way to actually get into the gaming industry. Todd Howard says he understands modding is very important to their games, is very grateful for the modding community, and Bethesda will always focus and allow modding like this in the future, which means Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 modding confirmed. Bethesda Game Studios continues to work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Todd Howard believes the community discovered all the secrets and Easter eggs and just stuff like that in Skyrim. Todd prefers to avoid direct sequels to previous game stories or events. Todd's favorite Bethesda Game Studios game at the moment, like I said, is Skyrim based on what's out, but he thinks Oblivion had the best quests and Morrowind had a very great tone and vibe. Todd has asked questions about the Elder Scrolls 6 at his own house. Todd stated that people usually can do the math to accurately predict when Bethesda Game Studios games will release. Todd believes that Elder Scrolls Online kept the Elder Scrolls universe alive and relevant during the long time between Skyrim and whenever the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out, but he does say that he would prefer to avoid 15-year gaps between single-player games like that. It's just something they can't avoid sometimes. The Elder Scrolls 6 will be very impactful and important for the series. Now, this is interesting because it seems like right here Todd Howard was going to say something about the Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, but the statement was cut. I kind of wonder what Todd Howard was going to say here.
With what will be such a big gap between Elder Scrolls 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 is, will there be kind of a little extra creative rejuvenation there when you guys really dive fully back in?
Well, our games take so long.
Dive fully back in.
Todd says the Elder Scrolls 6 will have some elements that make it feel a bit new and fresh. When Bethesda Game Studios starts a new RPG, they try to focus on what is accepted by the community in terms of a modern RPG at that time. The Elder Scrolls 6 is confirmed to come out after Starfield again, which we already knew, and Todd Howard even confirms further that they're very confident in Starfield's release date. Bethesda Game Studios has about 1 page of pre-development plans and work done for Fallout 5 at this point in time. So Fallout 5 exists, confirmed, kind of. It doesn't seem very likely for Obsidian or In Exile to get to do another Fallout, or for Bethesda to just let anyone else do another Fallout. Todd wants all the different Bethesda game studios, specifically BGS Studios and not just Bethesda Softworks Studios, to work as one big studio and focus on one game at a time in terms of the main development process. Pre-development processes are usually about 2 years for Bethesda game studios. Todd states that Starfield is very, very, very ambitious, and he says this like numerous times, so ooh. Todd states that Starfield will be the first true Bethesda game studios next-gen RPG, or just the true next-gen RPG in general. It'll have the biggest tech jump ever for Bethesda game studios, which again is something they've said before. Bethesda redid the entire engine from the ground up, including the renderer. Starfield is not just in the polishing stage right now, which is surprising. They're actually finishing up art and other location assets and stuff like that, but Starfield is still completely playable from the beginning to the end. And with that said, Todd is still very confident in Starfield at this time, and it seems like the game will have future content support and DLC. Todd prefers focusing on graphics, immersion, and in-game physics rather than having a game with higher than 30 frames per second. Bethesda Game Studios games can dynamically lower the resolution in hidden ways during high stress or load times, like when there's a lot of enemies on screen, a bunch of particle effects, and stuff like that. Todd likes 11/11 release dates. He thinks they look cool. It makes it easier for both Western and Eastern time formats, and he'll probably always like 11/11 release dates. Todd really likes Starfield's skill system, and he says it takes from Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. Faction system confirmed again in Starfield. Starfield will 100% have Bethesda Game Studios RPG vibes. It's Skyrim in space in all the best ways, according to Todd. And now we have some Indiana Jones stuff. Todd only routinely checks in on the Indiana Jones game. It's not like a daily thing, it's more of like a weekly or a monthly thing. But he is obsessed with Indiana Jones, and this game seems to be his idea. In fact, he had the Indiana Jones game planned for a very long time, and it actually almost was created 10 years ago. Todd hopes E3 2022 will be in person again. And finally, Bethesda Game Studios will always focus on single-player games, according to Todd, but they may add social elements, but this doesn't mean microtransactions, so don't worry. I don't know what it means. Maybe just like community awards for doing certain things, killing 10 goblins in a week. I don't know. Only time will tell, but that is basically everything I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, there's some stuff in here I can go really in-depth into, and I will in future videos, so sorry if you were expecting it in this video. This video wanted to be more of like an all-encompassing thing for anyone that just wants to know the entirety of all the important stuff in this interview. So yes, that's everything in this interview that was basically of importance in my opinion. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. Thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Be sure to subscribe to help grow the community and the channel, and huge shout out to the following amazing people for supporting the channel and the community. Get your name added to this permanent future video shout out list by supporting the channel on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, as well as a link for Skullzi merchandise and the Skullzi Discord. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when I'll definitely be breaking some of this down in future videos, because I already have a lot of ideas assuming direct control.
It just works.